I have been waiting all morning for this. Please welcome Ann Coulter, AnnCoulter.com, the syndicated columnist, the author of so many wonderful books, including Adios America, The Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning.
Ann, I love your articles. You are such a great writer, and you're so witty and so smart. But I'm just going to, for our audience, I have to read 3 lines from your most current article, which is up at AnnCoulter.com. First of all, when the president's immigration policy is to promote international communism, the president wins. When the president's immigration policy is to transform America into a different country, the president wins. But when the president's immigration policy is to protect Americans, some pissant judge announces that his authority exceeds that of the president. And that's exactly what's happening.
Yes, it's really unbelievable, except we've seen it so many times before, especially from the Ninth Circuit. The law could not be any clearer on this. The cases I cited, you don't have to go back to the Truman administration to find relevant case law here. Clinton and Obama had big cases in court involving their policy as the executive on immigration, and that's why under Clinton, Elian Gonzalez was sent back. The Clinton administration didn't want to make it obvious that their position was that they were, striking a blow for international communism. They lost on the Al Jarreau case, but they were going to get this one. So first they went through, I don't know if you remember that case, but it went on and on and on, because at first they took the position this is just a child custody case.
Right.
But the Clinton administration lost. And then they tried saying, under the law, a 6-year-old can't apply for asylum. And again, they lost. So ultimately, in order to force little Elian Gonzalez to go back to Cuba, the only thing they could do was say, it is our policy, we are denying asylum, he goes. And the 10th Circuit, the Florida Appellate Court, same as the 9th Circuit, came forward and described all of the things that Elian would face in Cuba, that he would face persecution, so on and so forth, but said, because there are a million cases saying this, it's the president's policy. Immigration is considered a part of foreign policy, and in that arena, the president has sole authority. Here it's explicitly written into law by Congress. The president could exclude redheads, no redheads, only redheads.
Yes.
It is completely the president's policy, and I was just, flipping through some other cases. You could print out probably 10 pages of nothing but citations to Supreme Court cases saying, sorry, you lose, the president wins when it comes to immigration. The most recent famous case was that Arizona law, mocked as the Papers, Please law back during Obama, because the Obama administration policy was not to enforce immigration law. And Arizona said, we're the ones suffering. We have a huge problem with illegal immigration. We're not doing anything that isn't already written into law, passed by Congress, signed by the president. We just want to have, parallel enforcement efforts where we will follow the federal law here. Obama administration said, no, you can't follow federal law. And the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court said, this is the policy of the president. You can't enforce written laws on the book. The president's will took precedence over that. But here we have a president doing something that really Obama could have done. In fact, there was some confusion for a while about whether Obama had put these travel restrictions in place for a few months. Because these are the designated terrorists. Madeleine Albright changed the name of terrorist countries to countries of particular concern. So that's what they're called. These are on the list from Hillary Clinton's State Department in the Obama administration. It is a brief travel ban. In fact, I think the reason Americans are so supportive of this brief, temporary travel ban is because they think it's a Muslim ban from listening to the TV.
That's so true. Hey, Brian, remind Ann, we got some inside information from a judge that they're suing Trump over this, but have you ever heard of a lawsuit going through in 6 months or less? So it's going to be over by the time their lawsuit even hits court.
The lawsuits by the states, I guess it would be Washington and Minnesota, to overturn
you
this.
mean this lawsuit will be, I mean, as I have been saying from the beginning, as I describe in Adios America, there will be massive resistance to trying to stop the dump of the third world on America. That's the overall point people need to understand. The left was so close they could touch it. It was almost the end of America. They have been bringing in more than 1 million immigrants a year for now half a century. You're out in California. You see how it's transformed California and many other states. Democrats brag about how this is Teddy Kennedy's greatest gift to the Democratic Party and call it George McGovern's revenge, where Republicans will never be able to win another national election. They are so close to finishing off America. And this isn't, I mean, the third world immigrants themselves, I don't think particularly bear America any animosity. They like the free stuff. They like the housing and the health care and the food and the schooling, and not having to pay taxes. No, they love all of that. It is these America-hating left-wing groups. I list just a portion of them in a paragraph in my column and also in my book, Adios America. This is a teeny tiny fraction. While you're busy working, these people are working overtime through the federal judiciary, the INS, the politicians, the lobbyists, the corporations who want the cheap labor, to bring the third world to our shores, and anything, even the simplest, most reasonable order by Trump is going to be met with massive resistance. And I guess one upside of this happening now is I'm not sure even Donald Trump realized how hysterical the opposition to everything he does on immigration is going to be, and he better be prepared because that's how he won.
Yep, it's exactly right. Ann Coulter with us, AnnCoulter.com. And, of course, your book, Adios America, The Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. And I'm thinking what's happening here in California. We have our sanctuary cities. Now the legislature is moving to make this a sanctuary state. Now we have here in the Bay Area our rapid transit system. It's called BART. BART wants to make their trains sanctuary trains.
I mean, this is the way the left is with everything. They win a case, utterly illegitimate, also from California, like the gay marriage ruling. And the next day, they're in the most conservative areas of the country demanding marriage licenses for, two guys. We have 50 years of history on our side, written laws, Supreme Court rulings, and they just say, yeah, we're not following that. No, I don't think we're going to. It is a ratchet effect where only left-wing laws, only left-wing policies, only left-wing court rulings from the Supreme Court will be followed. I mean, they scream bloody murder if somebody doesn't get, a marriage license in the tiniest county of Kentucky. But outside of this context altogether, how many years ago did we win Heller, the gun case? Try to get a gun in Los Angeles. I suspect it's not very easy in San Francisco either. We won that case before the Supreme Court, but the left, they are just, it's in their genes, it's in their blood. They are all little Orville Faubus's standing at the schoolhouse door, and the Supreme Court be damned, the federal government be damned.
I love it. We've got Ann Coulter fired up this morning. This is awesome. We just love it when you're like this. But, Ann, we pretty much love everything you do, and that's why we highly promote folks going to AnnCoulter.com. Plus, we've got you all linked up on our social media sites this morning for maximum exposure. Thank you, Ann. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Good to talk to you. Bye-bye.
All right. There she goes. Ann Coulter on KSFO.
Look who's here. Former Trump National Diversity Coalition Vice Chair Brunel Donald Che. Good to see you, Brunel.
God bless you, and God bless America, Miss Liz. Good to see you, too.
So, Ms. Brunel, Joy Reid's view seems to be it's hard to figure out what is in the mind of the Obama crowd who voted for Trump. Is it that hard?
No, it's not hard at all. What I'll tell you is that many Americans, we shouldn't even be talking about skin color at this point. I'm sick of that. Broken-hearted, neglected, left behind, our jobs going overseas, open borders, people coming in, killing Americans, our school system's a disaster, NAFTA deals taking all our jobs. The minds of Trump supporters, the same mind of every American. There are so many Americans who suffered under the last administration, and many of those Americans that suffered, they voted for our former president 2 times. And so what it is people are tired of politicians. They're tired of being lied to. They're tired of broken promises. That's why Donald Trump, our president, is sitting in the seat, because he is an outsider. He's not a politician. We wanted to drain the swamp, and so we sent in the person who was able to do that, and that's Donald J. Trump, our president.
You look at the exit polls, millennials, minorities, women, they voted for President Trump. And Joy Reid seems to be saying, well, Democrats cannot get the white working class voter anyway. Politicians can't reach out to both minority voters and white voters in America if they're in the Democrat Party at the same time. You know, the attitude is these interests, minority voters and white voters, are opposed to each other, that America is simply these different groups fighting to sit at the top of the heap with each other. Is that true?
That's absolutely false and sad that we have race baiters, people who just sit around finding ways to divide us. The problems that's facing our nation has no color. We want jobs. We want economic opportunities. We want our closed borders. We want better schools. All of those, that has absolutely zero to do with your race. What it has to do is the failure of our government to cover and protect and take care of the American people. And so the politicians have worn the people out. And so, like I said, the outsider, Donald J. Trump, our president, is doing exactly what he said he would do. He's rolling back regulations that were killing jobs. He got us out of this Paris Accord. He is, I think they got the money now for the down payment for the border wall. These are all issues that face Americans. It has zero to do with our race. We've got to be selfish with our country. We've got to take our nation back, and that's what all the voters who went out to vote for Donald Trump decided. We said we're tired of illegal aliens getting a better shake than a military person. We're tired of people immigrating into high-skilled jobs while Americans are unemployed. There are so many topics. I can go on and on, but it had zero to do with race. What it had to do is Americans are tired of being neglected, and we wanted the person in office who was saying America first, and he is still saying America first.
Vernell, if you could sit down with Democrats and talk to them,
sure,
leaders of the Democrat Party, what would you say is going wrong with the Democrat Party?
What I would tell the members of my party, which is the Democratic Party, is you've lost the soul of the people. You have sold out to Hollywood, sold out to elites, sold out to donors, while Americans are pawning their rings, pawning their items, can't buy food, can't buy gas, struggling, and you have to be concerned about those things. People are out here hurting. They're poor and they're hurting. And so the Democratic Party has got to tap back into the heartbeat of the people. And what that means is you have to address issues that matter. Economics, our open borders, NAFTA deals. You have to bring back, the spirit, God. That's another thing. The Democratic Party a few years ago, when God was mentioned, boo, boo, boo. Okay, you can't do that. I mean, you've got to get back to the principles that make our country strong, and God is at the heart of many of our laws.
Vernell,
so that's what I would tell them.
I heard your voice cracking. It sounded like your heart was breaking just then. You're impassionate.
It's not easy.
You're passionate. We love you. God bless you. I got you. I got you first.
So God bless you. God bless America, and God bless our president, Donald J. Trump.
Come back on the show soon.